Okay, let's look at this one. So again, I'm going to have to do that product rule. So I've got the derivative is the first function, so sine of x squared, times the derivative of the second. I'm going to write it like this so you can see that we're going to have to use the chain rule, plus the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, so when I look at this, all right, inside function is cosine of x. So outside would be something squared. So the derivative of the outside function would be 2 something. So 2 times something, because that 2 is going to come in front. And that something is the inside, times the derivative of the inside. Okay, so again, if you are imagining this, this would be like your u, and then your y is the cosine of u, or sorry, your y is u squared. So dy du is 2u, which is where this piece comes from. And then du dx is that negative sine x, which is where this piece comes from. So again, if you want to do this over to the side, that is more than fine with me. So plus cosine squared x times. Okay, here I've got my inside function is x squared and my outside function is the sine function. So the derivative of this sine function is cosine, so with respect to the inside, times the derivative of the inside. All right, so that's going to give me, we're going to have, so I'm going to move negative 2 sine of x squared times cosine of x times sine of x plus, I'm going to move that 2x out front. So 2x times cosine squared x times cosine of x squared. And it just will stay just like that. All right, so looking here, I see that I'm going to have to use the quotient rule. I'm going to have to use the chain rule. So there's 2 different ways you can do this, but I'm going to go through where let's do the chain rule first. So again, if you want to do it on the side, you can let that inside function we can see is this. And then that outside function is u to the 10th power. All right, so this is going to be super yuck. All right, so if I did, so dy over dx equals, so the derivative of the outside function, so that's 10 u to the 9th, so let's plug in what that u is. So u to the 9th power times the derivative of the inside function. I'm going to write this out just so you can see. So at this point, to find that derivative of the inside function, I'm going to have to use the quotient rule. So that's going to give me 10 times 1 minus t cubed over 1 plus t cubed to the 9th times, all right, so quotient rule, we've got the denominator, so 1 minus t cubed times the derivative of the numerator, which is negative 3t squared, minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator. And then that's all over 1 plus t cubed all squared. We're going to leave it just like that. You could totally go through and simplify this more, but we'll leave it at that. All right, let's look at this last example. So I see, holy moly, I'm going to have multiple chain rules because I have this inside function and then I have this entire inside function. So let's start with having this be our entire inside function, and then we'll have to go from there because it's the first one I see, the biggest one. So if this is our inside, so sine of e to the x plus 1, and this is our outside, okay? So again, if I was finding the derivative of the outside, so dy over du would be 2u. Okay, so g prime of x equals the derivative of the outside function with respect to the inside, so we're going to plug in what u is, times the derivative of the inside. So this is going to be taking that derivative of our inside function. Okay, so to find that derivative, we are going to have to apply the chain rule again. So our inside function is this, e to the x. Our outside function is sine of x. So it would be, we'll call it sine of u over here. You again don't need to write this part out. I'm just doing it so you guys can see kind of where things are coming from. Okay, so our outside function is the sine function. So the derivative of the sine function is cosine. And then again, it's with respect to the inside function, times the derivative of our inside function. So that's e to the x. So this whole thing becomes 2 e to the x times the sine of e to the x plus 1 times the cosine of e to the x plus 1. Again, when you're doing these, if it's easier for you to go through and do all of these pieces, please feel free to do that. I didn't end up finishing this whole thing out where I found du dx over here, but you're more than welcome to do those things on the side and then put them in if it's easier just to see piece by piece where things go. But if you're able to visualize that already, it does save some time just to be like, okay, so our outside function is the sine function, derivative of that is this, I need to do it with respect to the inside, and then times the derivative of the inside.